All right, good morning and welcome to 5 Minutes More with Pastor. It is August 28th, Friday. Beautiful day outside again, sunny and clear, and actually looking to be a fairly nice and mild weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope you are as well and take advantage of that. So excited about that. Um, hope you're doing well today and enjoying the day. I just want to share a real quick thought, really a challenge and exhortation to us. That's the great thing about the Bible. You can go from one day to the next, and it gives us exactly what we need. Sometimes we need to be really uplifted and encouraged. Sometimes we need to be challenged. Sometimes we need to be reminded. Sometimes we need to be um, convicted. And so we just let the Word do those things. And in Psalm 102, it certainly does. Psalm 102, verses 11 and 12 say this. It says, "My days are like a shadow that declineth, and I am withered like grass. But thou, O Lord, shalt endure forever, and thy remembrance unto all generations." David was just kind of being reminded of his own mortality, but in those same two verses is also reminding us of eternity, because he says, "While I I decline and I wither, God, you last forever." And we're reminded as eternal beings that this body will go away, but we will live forever somewhere. There's an old Calvin and Hobbes cartoon, and my family growing up, we were huge Calvin and Hobbes fans. We would read them every Sunday, but we also would go to the bookstore and buy all of their collections, their books, and read them. And there's one time where young Calvin, was saying to Hobbes, he said, "God put me on earth to accomplish certain things." He said, "Right now, I'm so far behind, I'm not sure I'll ever die." And sometimes maybe we wish that were the case. If I could just go get so far behind on my to-do list from God that I'll just live forever. But the reality is, we all have a lifespan. The reality is, at some point, life ends. And David again is reminded of that when he says, "My days are like a shadow that declineth." As the sun goes down and my shadow lengthens. It's a reminder that the sun is going down on the end of our days, and will go down on the end of our lives. And you say, "Well, what's the challenge, or what's the conviction?" As I get older, and I know there are some that are probably watching that are younger than I am, some that are older than I am. As I get older, I come to the realization that the little things, maybe when I was younger, I would look at the bigger picture, but the little things matter as well. You understand how quickly, if you let the little things get away, that how they can affect your life or your health or those kinds of things. But I also realize that that is true in my spiritual life. The small things matter. Um, Letting small sins creep into one's life can have devastating effects, especially when the lifespan is longer. I was reading a story talking about small choices having large consequences, and it told the story of Sally. Sally was the Romero family pet for 8 years. When they bought her, she was only a foot long, something about like a Subway sandwich foot long or whatever. She was just a foot long, wasn't very big. But over the next 8 years that they had her, she eventually grew to 11 and a half feet long and weighed 80 pounds. On July 20th of 1993, Sally, who was a Burmese python, turned on the Romero's 15-year-old son, Derek, strangling the teenager until he died of suffocation. The Associated Press quoted the police as saying that the snake was quite aggressive, hissing, and reacting when they arrived for the investigation. And I began to think to myself how easy it is for us, with our sins, to begin to have small accommodations in our lives that can quickly grow into deadly lifestyles. As believers, we can never let our guard down. We can never get to the point where we say, "Well, I can handle that sin because I've matured," or "I can handle that and it's not that big of a deal." That's never true. And as we grow as believers, we ought to be very aware of the small things, because we let the small things go, those small things will grow, and they won't stay small forever, and they can have deadly effects. I know this much, and it's crazy for me to say, but now that I'm 40, the likelihood is I've entered into the last half of my life. I hope I live longer than that, but for on average, I'm in the last half of my life. Can I tell you something? I don't want to waste the last half of my life on little sins. I don't want to waste the last half of my life on stuff that shouldn't be tripping me up and making me less useful for the cause of Christ. And so I need to remember for myself that my days are limited and I want to use them for the Lord. And so I'm not even going to let the little things trip me up. I'm going to be diligent in those things as well. And I hope you will too. Hope you have a great day, a good Friday, and we'll talk to you later.